Hello everybody, this is a Lamley unboxing. Hot Wheels 2024 International Q case. We already did the US case from Mattel a few days ago. Now we've got the international case from, of course, our friends at A&J Toys. Ken Dotson sent it over. Last case of 2024. If you remember when we pulled the when we did the US case, we got very, very lucky. So I'm doing something new. Since I do two unboxings typically, I do an international case from A&J Toys, I do a US case typically from Mattel, and we're gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna make these a little different. So we're gonna do the unboxing, that's the first portion of this video. The second portion of the video will be all things, in this case, Silverado. I've pulled out, we're gonna showcase the highlights. We're gonna open those up, but then we'll do a car show fully on the Silverado. Don't worry, I have a loose version of this, and we're gonna go through a very, very valuable collection of Silverados. I have it. I've been collecting them over the years, and I think you will enjoy that. But if you just want to watch the unboxing, that's the first portion of this. Then we'll do a lot of opening of highlights from the case and the Silverado showcase. So let's get right to it. This came from A&J Toys the same day as the US case came from Mattel, so it's a little different day. I think we were fighting rain last time. This time I think we might fight a little bit of a breeze, but I think we'll be okay on that. And let's just get to it. See what is inside this case, compare it to the US case that we opened. It's still pretty fresh in my mind, so I think I will remember. See if there's anything missing, of course, but let's get to it. And we start with the Rink Racer, Mercury Cougar Eliminator, and the Birthday Burner. I think that might have been a very similar assortment from the last one. There is the Aston Martin DB4 GT High Speed Edition. Hopefully you saw Craig Callum talking about this model in the sneaks that we did. Posted that actually the day I'm filming this, but it was a few days ago from when we posted this. There's the Desert Drifter and the, what is that, Rink Racer. Another Rink Racer, I guess I should say. Oh, look at this. Okay, so here's the first thing that we're going to, that I've noticed. That is the 83 Silverado. That is not the Super, and it's at the top of the case. So maybe, typically the Supers are at the bottom of the case. Maybe we're seeing already a different assortment because this is different. This is the, maybe there's another Silverado on the other side, and it could be the Super. Well, the likelihood of me finding two Supers is obviously very, very low. Our unlikelihood is high, whatever. Anyway, let's compare and contrast here. So it's nice. I mean, I'm not going to complain because I got the Super in the last one, and now I have the regular because I didn't have that to compare to. So now we'll do that when we do the Silverado, but it's a highlight for sure. VW T3 Custom, another big highlight from this case, is Brian Zhao's incredible design. He talked about this one in the video as well that we did, so hopefully you enjoy that in the sneak peek. Brian is a pretty brilliant designer. So is Craig, and a really enjoyable video. Hopefully you enjoyed doing that. McLaren P1, we've seen that one. The Dodge Charger, we've seen that one. And oh look, a Batman Arkham Knight Batmobile. I think we've seen that one. Loopster. There's the recolor of the Lotus Type 49. Recolor is probably the wrong term, but it's the second version. Number 4 with the different color driver and the Loopster and the total disposal. McLaren F1 is definitely a highlight. We'll move that to the highlight pile and open that up. Silverado EV, I think we've already seen that one, and the Mustache recolor of that. Really cool model as well. Really cool generics this year, and I think we got that sense from Craig and Brian that they're really doing some cool stuff with that. Gordon Murray's Automotive T50S, that was in the last case, but very cool. Mazda MX-5 Miata is also cool in yellow. Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR, very nice. All three of these were in the last case. The Silverado EV RST, the Tesla Model S Plaid. These new models will all be in the Lamley Awards. We're starting prep already, so stay tuned for that. 95 Mazda RX-7 is very cool as well. 3 colors on that one, including a Kroger exclusive. Roland Solo, Birthday Burner, and the Aston Martin DB4 GT High Speed Edition. There's the regular. We'll open that up too. Why not? Mustache, Birthday Burner, and the regular Treasure Hunt, which is a highlight in this case for sure, is the Porsche 928S Safari, the Safari 928. I think it's fantastic. It is a treasure hunt, as you can see the symbol there in the back. And yeah, highlight for sure. It would be a highlight even without being a regular treasure hunt. There's a wind. Hopefully you don't pick too much of that up. Batman. Oh look, It's a Batmobile, 2020 Koenigsegg and the Total Disposal. And the last three of this first portion, Tread Shredder, Rally Special, and the Speed Dozer. Let's open up the second half. Let's see if there's another Silverado. I'm going to be really surprised if it was a Super. But anybody who's opened an international case and pulled the Silverado, let me know if you pulled it from the top or the bottom. Let's move this. Let's look. That Silverado grill is pretty easy to see. There it is. So this could be if it were the Super. I highly doubt it is, but I cannot tell from this angle. So let's, I mean, can you imagine if I pulled another Super? But I don't think it is. I highly doubt it. I'll just say that. Rink Racer. There's another Aston Martin. So 3 Aston Martins in this one. And the Desert Drifter. Yeah, there we go. Not the Super. Can you imagine? I would have known. I would have been like, yeah. Even I would have said he faked it. He planted that one to pull 2 Supers. But I would imagine that if you're going to pull the Super, and anybody who has been lucky enough to pull it from international case, it looks like they put 2 in here, 1 on top, 1 in the bottom. If you were going to pull the Super, it would be in the bottom is my guess, but that's the regular one. In fact, that one, I think, if I look from what I noticed, this one has some marks on it. So I'll put this one over here and we'll leave this one to open in our highlight video. All right, and then we had another T1 Custom and another Desert Drifter. So different assortment, definitely from the US case. There's the Lamborghini Huracan LP622 Super Trofeo, retroactive, and the Dodge van. Obviously, that Lamborghini was the Super in the last case. Recolor of the Porsche Carrera, Arkham Knight Batmobile. That's the third one, and then the Mailed It. Sometimes at the A case and the Q case, you'll see some like I'm not going to call them fillers by any means, but like you'll see more of one. And then the A case, it always seems, because it's a little holdover from the Q case from the 2024 or from the previous year, and then some new models, and we'll see that with the A case. Toyota Super 2 of the tuned versions and the Rink Racer. What did I call this? I think I called this a solid B, right? This case in terms of the grade. Here's the Hot Wheels roll cage. There is the Nissan Works, LB Silhouette Works GT Nissan 35 GTR version 2, and the Cybertruck. This was in the last case, but the Cybertruck's new to this one. We'll open that one up. Maybe, I don't know if I have the other Cybertrucks. I don't know if I added them to my collection, but it's pretty much, there won't be much difference there. There's the Toyota Supra. That's a beauty from the last case. Mazda RX-7 and the Speed Bump recolor. Another Lamborghini, another Mailed It, another Ford GT. There's the High Roller. We said that we were curious about that one. Maybe I will open it up. I'll put it in the highlight pile because that's the Super of the next. We'll just take a look at that. There's another Plaid and another VW. Here's one of my favorite highlights right in the middle there. Tracked Wagon, Dwayne's model's cool. Bugatti Bolide. That's a highlight. That's going in the highlight pile. Open that up. And the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe, the Golf version. That's cool. Super Impreza 22B, that will go into the highlight pile and get opened up because it is a 22B. We saw the Honda S800 Racing from the last case, and there is the Mercedes-Benz Unimog 1300L, and we finish with the other new model here. Alfa Romeo's nice. We'll put that in the highlight pile, maybe cleanly do that one. There's 3 versions of that. Another Speed Bump, and the other new model that definitely made it a B grade, moved it up from a C to a B, was this Ford Mustang Dark Horse. I thought about, but I'll do this one with the, here's my promise to you. I thought about doing a Mustang showcase because I just collect the first versions of these more modern Mustangs because they're more stock the way the Hot Wheels does it. But we know that other Mustang, the supercar version, what is it called? I don't remember. We know that one is coming in 2025, and I'll do a Mustang showcase with that one. Like, you'll see, you'll like it. You'll like what I do there, but we'll definitely open this one up and showcase it in the car show. All right. There you go. We'll go through the highlights. I already showed the highlights from the last case, but let's break away, clean this up, and do a Silverado and Q case highlights car show. Those of you who are done with the unboxing, you're excused. The rest of you, stick around for something even better than that unboxing. Okay, car show time. I actually went back to the US case that we had opened prior to this international case and did find 2 models from the highlights that were not in the international case. Don't know if that is consistent. It doesn't have to be. There's no rule that says they have to be, and obviously we'd like to see all these models consistently in each case. But the Bumblebee recolor and the Acura NSX recolor were both not found in the international case I opened. So we can start this car show. We're going to do this half portion of the cars, the highlights from it. So we will go ahead and do this real quick. We'll open up the Acura NSX. This is a Zamac as well. I think it's out. I'm trying to remember. I tend to lose track, but it will be a Zamac. Here it is in plain white. It's been in white before, from maybe the first year, but this one obviously has the black rims, just the trim, Acura symbol in the back, and which I think is or in the front, I'm sorry, which is nice, and then the taillights. I think that's a very nice car. We're not going to be worried about the parking slots where everything actually goes. Here's the Bumblebee, because we got the whole Silverado thing to do, and that's going to be far more interesting. This just gives you a chance to see these on the turntable. So here's Bumblebee recolor. Someone did mention in the comments from the US case that we did that this does, I guess Bumblebee was destroyed and rebuilt in gold or something like that. So that's kind of cool. So it tracks, right? As in terms of the accuracy of a gold Bumblebee. The Bumblebee's face is still on the bottom, which is very cool. So this is a neat casting. I do appreciate, and obviously this Hasbro Hot Wheels merging was very cool. You know, this collaboration is a very cool deal. VWT3 Custom, we have seen this. I'll just put it in the car show. We have seen this up close several times in the sneak peeks that we've done, but here it is on the turntable one more time. Really, really cool design, very original design from Brian Zhao. Excited to see what else is going to be coming from Brian in the future. Just think that is a very, very cool car. So is this one, McLaren F1. Trying to think of the colors. Obviously we've seen it in premium and NFT, but I mean, I remember an orange one, I think a white one, maybe a black one, silver one. We've seen quite a few. I'll add this to the collection. I'm not worried, you know, maybe I'll show a McLaren F1 collection one of these days, because I think I have everything. And but this red one, as long as they're plain or like accurate, I'm way into them. All right, Lotus Type 49. I don't have the original, but we'll put this. We're so close to the Lamley Awards now that all of the new models will be showcased from Hot Wheels, basic and premium, anything new. So this one will be included in there together with the number 5. I think the figure is white in the first one. It's gray in this one, and obviously it goes from number 5 to number 4, but both in British Racing Green. Love the wheels on this one. They kind of have a moving element to it, which I think is really cool. Magnus is Porsche, blue in the first color, white in the second. I'm not terribly keen on this design, to be honest. I really like the casting. I'm going to do a video on my collecting habits of late, but one of them is if I really like a casting. It used to be if I really like a casting, I'll collect everything. That's not the case anymore. I'll talk through that in a different video, but I have several of this casting, but this is not one of the models I will keep, but it's here, and we'll probably go into maybe the trick-or-treat donation pile. Here's this 22B, same with this. Very, very cool design, this Gravel Crew. Go ahead and put this on. I think we did this in the sneak peeks as well, and there's a black version, might be a store exclusive or something coming, because this is the final case of 2024, so I'm assuming that store exclusive is going to show up, or that recolor is going to show up as a store exclusive somewhere. I guess we'll figure that out. But this one's very nice, leeway design. Really, really dig this one. Although, like I said, I'm just collecting the plain 22Bs. This one I am collecting. Bugatti Bolide. Love this. This is the third color. We've seen blue, we've seen yellow. Now we get red trim, right? I think all of them have a black base. Am I correct on that? They're all black with a different color trim, right, on the top. So I think that's really cool. Overuse of the word cool, I apologize, but it is, right? Red, blue, yellow, looks really cool together. I'll do some sort of image video or something with this one, because I did a Bugatti video a while ago and I really enjoyed doing that one. All right, another new model, Ford Mustang Dark Horse. I said a Mustang showcase is coming. I will do one, I promise, and this one will go in there because this goes into the collection as a plain Mustang. And plain, I use that liberally, plain meaning stock factory. I don't know why I said plain. I could restart this, but I'm not gonna because I just opened it. I take typically the first editions of Mustangs as Hot Wheels does them. Same thing with Corvettes. Will typically be some sort of factory color or factory design, and that is the case with this one as well. That Ford blue, which is very nice, in that black trim. Really dig that. And then we've got. Oh, I said I would do it. I said I would do it when we do the next one next year, the one that's coming out. Here's the Alfa Romeo. Back and forth on this one. It's a really clean design. It was gray to start, recolor red edition, Target red edition in black. We got the factory looking versions in red and black in premium, and I really dig those, and I really like the racing versions from last year. Still on the fence on this version on whether it's going to go in the collection or not, but now I have it loose and I will check that one out. Cybertruck, I don't think there's much difference here. We've seen the Cybertruck. This is the third time in the main line that we've seen it, and then we've also seen the ID version. I have the ID version in the collection. I think I got rid of the first two of this one. It has increased in value, the original version, so I don't know if this one will add or take away from that. I don't know if there's any difference in the castings, or I'm sorry, in the deco. You see so many people wrapping their Cybertrucks that you wonder if Hot Wheels would get permission to maybe wrap a Cybertruck, or do like what would be the equivalent of a wrapped version of a Cybertruck. But we'll find out in the future. And then lastly, the Porsche 928S Safari. This is the treasure hunt, and a very cool treasure hunt. This one will go into my collection as is, because treasure hunt or not, because I like this casting a lot. Really dig the 928. I like this racing deco that they've done on it. They just happen to put the treasure hunt design on this one as well, so I will put that there. Those are the cars that are parked to attend what is going to be a pretty magnificent Chevy Silverado car show celebrating these two. Let's get to it. All right, very, very excited to go through my Chevy Silverado collection. The 83 Silverado is an iconic casting, I would say, along with the 510 wagon, 510 coupe, 67 Camaro, and the 55 Gasser, and then maybe the R34 you'd put in there now. It is probably the most sought-after casting of the last, 5 to 10 years from Hot Wheels collectors. I'm not trying to put a whole historical significance from the early days of Hot Wheels, but for the modern collector of the last 10 years, this is one of the most popular sought-after castings for sure. Designed by Junimai way back in 2008, I believe. And I don't have them all. In fact, I have very few basics. In fact, why don't we get the basics out of the way that I have in my collection? This will be the third that I'll add. I used to got rid of them because I need to make space, and so I'm focusing on premium. So here's the first one, and I'm going to put these. I'll just put these on the turntable quickly, and in fact, we'll create a little section for these basics, because this is the basic that is the basic version. That is the equivalent of this one. The first Super Treasure Hunt that featured the Chevy Silverado back in, what year was this one? Does it say 83, 136? Nothing on the back, I think, or on the back, 2013, so over 10 years ago. This was a Super. Found this one at Target in St. George, Utah, and I've kept it carded, but I also acquired, because I wanted a loose one, the loose Super Treasure Hunt. So I have a loose version. Here it is. I think if they did this one today in this color, it would be more of a gold color, but this one, so it's it looks gold in the packaging, but it's actually not. But it's a nice Super Treasure Hunt. Kind of plays along with the standard deco you'd see on a Chevy Silverado. It's not entirely that way, but it is close. So there are those two. Then in the middle, before I get to the current regular and Super Treasure Hunt, we have this one. And so the only reason I keep that yellow basic is because I try and match the Super Treasure Hunts with their regular counterparts. And then in this case, I collect all of the red editions, and this is the Silverado that was a red edition 2 years ago. and it's been sought after too. That was quite the mix because it had the Honda Civic in there too. So if you came across this mix, you were super lucky, and I happened to, and find a few of them, and that is that one. So we're gonna put those in the basic section over there. I am not opening this one yet because I'll open it as part of the Super Treasure Hunt showcase that I will be doing for the Lamley Awards. I've saved all the supers of 2024 for that, so we'll get that, but we will open the basic version now that we pulled from this case, and I'll add that to the collection over there. I could put it with the other basics, but we're not going to. This will go into my Super Treasure Hunt collection to be opposite the Super Treasure Hunt once I do that, and I can show that when I do those. Okay, so that is, I know they're kind of out of the shot, but I guess I'll pick it up a little bit. Here are the basics in their little section of this Silverado car show. But let's get to the meat over here. We will start, I can go in order, but I'm actually not going to because I want to kind of go from like the tiers of the Silverado, because it's actually kind of interesting. When you look at this, it's been in basic a lot. It's been a lot of mid-tier, like what would be called like the Silver Series style now, and we're going to kind of get to that, but I want to go to its standard premium. It would be car culture and that sort of thing. And when you look at its status in car culture, it's actually kind of interesting. It's been in car culture exactly one time. And when you think about something that is so popular, this is the Borla. It was in one of the first or second trucks. I think it was the second trucks release. We haven't seen it in Team Transport. We did see it in 2-packs, but it was a repeat of this Borla. There were some slight differences. We're not going to worry about that. But yeah, premium has only been in car culture one time, and which is so interesting considering how popular this casting is. We've seen this square body only once, so it's going to go way over into the far side over here. We have seen it in pop culture. Now again, I don't know how many times I actually have it. Like in premium, like modern premium, I think the only other time that we've seen it is in pop culture, what, a year or two ago in this Golf deco. So it's like, it's really interesting because like the Datsun 510 wagon seems to show up every year in the main line. It seems to show up in premium a lot. You know, same thing with the 67 Camaro, same thing with the 55 Bel Air. But the Silverado, for as popular it is, it's kind of strange where it shows up. Might be a cost thing, I'm not sure. Maybe it costs a lot to produce, I'm not totally sure. A lot of metal in it. But anyway, we've seen it in that Golf deco in pop culture. And then the only other one in like kind of the modern premium, like the car culture era, was this this version from, what was it? The case, like the display case, right? That you bought the display case and you got this model in the packaging as well, in this Hot Wheels deco. So that one goes right there as well. So I'm going to move these premium over here. There's one kind of mid-premium that I guess you could put with the basics, but it is the Legends, like kind of Super Treasure Hunt recolor. So you see where this thing shows up. There's your Super Treasure Hunt. There's the Legends. They've done this with several. They do it. The Combi is this year. They take popular Super Treasure Hunts and recolor them. They did that one with this one. This got the plastic base, but the Super Treasure Hunt recolor got the metal base. So I guess we could put that kind of in its over here as part of a, I don't know, as part of this like basic showcase, kind of the in-between model over there. You can't even see it, but there it is over there in the in-between. But let's continue with the premium, and if we're going to go now to the old school premium, it really showed up only once prior to car culture and premium, and it's this Edelbrock version from I don't know what year. I don't think it'll say. This might be like 2011, 2012, could be even earlier than that. This was like called it was a delivery or something. I think this series also had the custom truck, the custom 62 Chevy that had the surfboard in it. It had I'm trying to even remember that deco. But this has become kind of a medium value. I was mentioning we're gonna get into some nitty gritty stuff. The most valuable truck that we've seen so far is probably the Super Treasure Hunt. This one's probably in the $50 to $60 range. I'd have to look, you know, carded or loose. I would probably be more carded. But now we get serious. And I mean serious. So let's go with its origins as a casting, the Silverado. It did not debut in basic, if you're not familiar. I did mention that Junimai designed this model. And he designed it for a line that he did by himself. He did incorporate some existing castings, but designed many new castings for this line. It was called, incidentally, Modern Classics. They've taken that name and then put it into car culture, but Modern Classics originally were Spectre Flame models, that super treasure hunt level Spectre Flame, and done with these OH5 wheels. I think all of them had OH5 wheels, done in a very modern kind of, modern classic. So take a classic looking modern. Datsun 240Z was in this one. There's a new Roadrunner casting that we haven't seen, a new Nova casting that we haven't seen. A lot of interesting, the 92 or 93 Mustang was in here. A lot of interesting models in this one. And this is the original Silverado, done obviously pretty much factory in its colors, but obviously lowered down, which is kind of cool. I'm actually going to put this one over here in the car show. There's a legendary one. There was supposed to be a recolor of this one in antifreeze Spectre Flame. Never made it to market. One made it to eBay in a collection and sold for a ungodly amount. I would imagine if it went up for sale now, loose, it would probably garner $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, I think, because there's enough collectors that know about it. I do know someone who has a carded version of that antifreeze, and he might just be the designer of that casting. I don't want to, he already gets enough attention. I don't think he'd want attention for that one. I think he's shown it. So anyway, but I know there is one carded version out there. Next, I don't have all of the medium tier, but this is where the Silverado hung out for a while before it went premium. And like I said, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Ultra premium. I don't remember what this line was called. I just know that I like the wheels on this one. It's one of those those kind of retro lines that they're doing now. I can't even remember the names because I don't care too much about them. But so it has the retro wheels on it, and it has a bit of a retro deco on it, which I think is kind of cool. And I really like this deco, so I have kept this one. It continued to have its metal chassis, which was cool. So that one goes there. And then the other one from that, before we get to some real big time models, by the way, that one's probably valued around $200 at this point. This one, I have no idea. Probably, I would say like 20 or 30, maybe a little bit more. You guys can tell me. This one, Valentine's Day. It was a Valentine's Day line that they did about the same time, and the Silverado made it in there with this Valentine's deco, which I think is kind of cool. And just because of the history of the casting, I've kept this one. And I think it's very interesting, a very kind of cool, interesting, same style with the OH5s that we saw a lot as it originally came out. So I think that one was cool. And then we did see it. It moved to a plastic base for basic, and then we saw Walmart exclusive. We've obviously seen the treasure hunts, which we've gone over, and it's been in basic a lot. And some of these other mid tiers with the plastic chassis, I've just kept them out. I just haven't used them outside of, or I kept them in the collection. I used to, but I don't worry about that anymore. But in this mid tier, you had this one and the Legend of the Antifreeze. You had this one, which has been a cool one, and the Valentines. But then there were the rod models. Now, if you've ever heard of the rod models and the story of the rod models, there was this interesting line that Hot Wheels did that did not go well. And it was done as a kind of a tie-in to store exclusives. So they were kind of middle tier, those $2 to $3 models. A little bit more deco, some special paint. I don't know if metal chassis was the most important thing, but some of the models did have them. And they called them the military rods, the fire rods, and the police rods. And so what they did is they created a line of cars. One was a Toys R Us exclusive. I couldn't tell you which one was which, but like the military rods were exclusive to one store, to like either Toys R Us, Target, or Walmart. The fire rods to another store, and the police rods to another. So you would get a casting, in this case the Silverado, and there would be a store exclusive, one in military at one store, one in fire in another store, and one in police in another store. Does that make sense? And they were all the same castings, just in different decos. So the Silverado got it, and it was part of this. This is the police rods. This, I don't remember where the police, what store they were exclusive to, but this one was more common than the other two, and we'll talk about the other two in a minute. You could find this one in whatever store it was in. And for a while it was pretty easy to acquire. The legend of the rod models has changed that. This is now a $300 car carded. But very, very cool deco on it. Again, the OH5s, which was the style of these, and a really cool, clean police deco, which I think is really, really nice. So that one goes there. We're going to put that. So that was one store exclusive, easy to find, but it's really gained in value of late. It's the military and the fire rod models that were impossible to find. Something happened to that particular mix, and the models in that mix have gained an insane amount of value. And the Silverados being the key to these, the most valuable of them. We'll start with the fire rods. Again, I don't remember what store, but here it is. In Annapolis, this is actually a licensed fire department livery, or deco, or graphics, whatever you want to call it. Here's the interesting thing about this. This car has exceeded $1,000 several times on eBay, and I would put that as a pretty safe value for this. I acquired mine because I was looking for it. I just could never pony up the money to do it. I really wanted the military and the fire rods models. I acquired this one from the son of someone who worked at that fire department. He said, and I traded him the value of it. We did a trade, but he told me that that cases of these sat in their department for years. This is several years ago. They're all gone. I promise you, they're all gone now. And they were giving them out to kids at events all the time. And so there are legitimately these $1,000 models just trashed in Maryland, maybe in attics, and you have to find just kids. You should find kids in Maryland that just see who might have like trashed versions. I'd love like a used trashed version of this casting just for fun. But they're out there, legitimately out there, because they were given out to tons of kids by the fire department. They had no idea that this had become a rare model for collectors. Let's move this up a little bit. But that's how I acquired mine, was through a trade with someone who had a few of those. So that's a really cool story. The other one was this one, the military rods. I think it's the best looking of them all. Done in kind of a, an airplane kind of livery, or deco, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's the cool codes on the side. This one's really cool. I really like the back of it. Obviously there is some code there. I couldn't tell you what it is at this point, but super clean. There's a lot of customs of this model, but this is legit. I think I ended up making a purchase for this one on eBay, sold some stuff to purchase it. But these are not the most valuable. There's a couple that are now more valuable than these two, but these are probably the hardest to acquire of any, because the antifreeze RLC is the most valuable at this point. I think we'll get to that, but you can get them. You just got to pay a lot for them. But in terms of rarity, I mean, the antifreeze Modern Classics really wins, but there's only like one or two out there. But these two, the fire and the military rods, definitely take the cake as the hardest to find. You just got to be scouring eBay and hope they pop up. All right, those are those. Let's get to the convention models. This is a long video, but it's worth it. All right, it has been as part of the Hot Wheels convention twice, and then the Japanese convention once. We'll get to those right now. Super clean versions of these as well. And there's a lifted version of the Silverado. They took the same casting and just lifted it. We're not going into that today because it's been in the convention twice. It's been in RLC and some other lines, but we'll save that for another time. But this was the first one. I think there's probably a year, Dallas, Texas, 2018. That this debuted as a convention model. Really nice colors. It's got the pinstriping on the hood, which is a really nice touch. Just really clean with the 5 spokes, with the premium 5 spokes. I think that's an awesome model. It returns in a very similar theme in 2022, 4 years later. I think this might have been one that was during COVID. Can't remember totally. But the pinstriping returns to the hood. The casting, the square body styling is there. USA 1, a cool Chevy shout out on this one, and the lowered Chevy Silverado looks great in that convention look. And then lastly, more recently released at the Japan convention in this stunning black version, pinstriping on the hood again. But we get there it says the Japan convention. But we get this amazing black version with a black chassis, beautiful, beautiful deco on the side and on the top. I think this was designed by an artist. I don't have the package with me, so I can't talk through that, but it's out there, so you can look it up. Black grille, just a really beautiful model. The 5 spokes are there too, white wall tires, but with the black spokes, it's just a stunner of a model as well. Now you see this really forming, right? And seeing how beautiful it is. Only 2 more to do. And these are the most valuable. I've already referenced one. You already know what it is. It is by far the prettiest Silverado. I mean, by 1,000 miles, it's the prettiest Silverado. It is such a stunning piece. It might have been the second or third release of this casting way back in RLC, and it's worth a fortune. And it's the mirrored RLC Spectre Flame White Wall Beauty. I am just almost trembling holding this over this because I just do not want to drop it. So we'll put it on the turntable. You can see it is in not only in this beautiful antifreeze Spectre Flame, but when you add this chromed factory style, not factory color, but factory style stripe wrapped around the whole body of the truck, plus the white wall tires and the chrome rims, this thing it's kind of on a planet by itself, right? It's just so beautiful and such a stunning model, one of the all-time great RLC models. And this was a trade. Paul Lutz, I did the trade with him. Traded him actually a few Silverados to get this one. And I think I got it packaged and I opened it. And I don't regret opening it because it's just so stunning loose. And I love having it there. And then lastly, just recently hit. I've had it for a while and I haven't been able to show it, but I'm going to show it today. It is the NFT Garage 83 Chevy Silverado. We'll pull it out. I'll show you the packaging. This was only acquirable. Is that a word? Could only be acquired by those that got all of the NFTs and all of the models, all the redeemable models from the first 4 mixes. You had to show those tokens, and if you did, I'm just going to put this over here. I don't want to drop anything on it. Then you were able to acquire, I'll turn around this way, this 83 Silverado NFT. I'll show it to you in the package. In this purple, it kind of seems to be a bit of an homage to the RLC, not totally, but the striping is different. But the wheels, the big thick white wall tires, are one of those features. Leeway did this design. I'll go ahead and put this to the side because I actually have one loose that you can see on the turntable. I've been waiting to show it. So the gold rims, the purple body, white striping with a little gold trim on it. This is a beautiful, like, it's not necessarily supposed to look like a real truck. It's supposed to be a special kind of trophy for those that were able to acquire all of the NFTs, and they all have theirs. I think most of them have gotten theirs in the acrylic case, and it is something special to see. So we'll put that right here. I like seeing these two together. I'm watching what this is doing on eBay, and it's going for a real pretty penny, similar to the price on this one. And then you've got these 2 rarities back there. But you put all of this together, and you're talking $5,000 to $6,000 at least in Silverados. Now, mine are all loose. I get it. There's a difference between packaged and loose. I understand that. But I love seeing these together, and I don't know if I've had them out in this kind of car show style in a long time. So I am not complaining. So there you are. Walk through them. Check them out. They're really, really fun to look at, and it's a collection that I'm very, very stoked to have. So, and this is legitimately acquired through true collecting trades, selling stuff to buy stuff. This was a fun one. This is a fun one to acquire and fun one to build, and I don't think we're done. There you go, everybody. That was a long unboxing, but hopefully it was worth it. Hope you enjoyed looking at these Silverados, especially because I sure am. Thanks, everybody. Bye.